still think you should try and sip this time though.
It's not gonna pick it up.
Have you tried? We can do it together so then it sounds like you're doing it.
I have to. Wait.
Oh, I can mute myself. Oh,
No. It's gonna work now. I just took a full ass sip.
I caught some of that.
Did you?
I did. Yeah, I heard some of it.
I almost dipped my mic into the coffee. It's not coffee. It's tea. It's good.
It's very good. Very. That would be a very good post volleyball drink.
What's in this?
So it's an anomaly. Mark is drinking a citrus like drink or something. It's like I wish I had the
You don't
can.
even know what you made for me.
My mom purchased it and I tried it and it
Oh,
was good. So I was like, I'm gonna purchase it and try it again.
oh, it's good.
It's very good for colds. It's like a honey citrus syrup concentrate. Okay, that makes it sound like it's very artificial. It's very natural.
It's like the jar seems like it's a jam, but
A
it's like
jam. That's a good way to put it. Yeah.
for tea or like a marmalade
Oh.
because
Oh.
a marmalade is specifically for citrus. Did you know that?
I didn't know that. No.
Yeah. The more you know.
I
Like
thought.
strawberry, you make jam,
Yeah.
but like anything with like oranges or something is like marmalade.
I thought it was like the peel is what makes marmalade.
Well, you add the. I think you add the peel into
Oh,
there.
fine. Can we put a pin in that? I'm gonna research that later.
Sure. Down.
Anyways,
I thought this was a volleyball podcast.
it's turning into a food podcast. Um. Anyways, we are back. Episode 4. Sorry it took us 2 weeks to come out with this. I'm very, 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 very sorry. We've just been very busy. Lots of happenings in the community, and also our personal lives have been quite busy as well. So I deeply apologize. But we are back. Mark is here.
Hi. Hi.
And we're just gonna kind of catch you guys up on what you have missed and anything um, else that's been happening in the community. We're just gonna kind of, what is it called? Shoot the something.
Yeah, the last part is a bad word.
Oh, fine. Okay. Yeah. I didn't know the saying. You know, this one time I said that's just the way the bread toasts or something, and they were like, "That's not the saying, Jess." And I was
Isn't
like,
it cookie crumbles?
"Yeah." I found that out later.
Uh,
So, anyways, what have we been up to recently, Mark?
volleyball tournament. Women's.
Yes, we did host a women's volleyball tournament with our friends at Game Time Arena. We are doing another one, but we'll brush on that at the end. How was the
I'm
women's
gonna
tournament?
plug that. The tournament was sick.
It's crazy.
It was cool, very smooth.
Very smooth. The players were very good. I thought I was like pretty okay at volleyball. Like going into it, I was like, yo, I could probably compete in competitive. And then I watched the girls play in competitive, and I was like,
Yeah, there's some that are probably way better than I am. Hey, actually, now that I think about it, when I was talking to the finalists,
Mhm.
they called me old. I am not that old. If you're listening to this, I am not that old.
They called you a grandpa, I think.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
I'm hurt.
You are almost a decade older than some of them, though.
Okay, didn't need to tell them
And
that.
they're crazy at volleyball, so it's like, can you really argue with them?
Yeah, that's fine. Like you can be a million times better than I am. Just I know I'm.
You
Anyways,
still play quite well, though. You did play in a men's tournament recently.
uh, yeah, I did.
How did that go? What position did you play?
My knees. I played the Nishinoya position
Not for the whole tournament.
for most of it. Yeah.
Yeah. When I got there, he was playing power, and oh my gosh, Mark was like, "Man, the net's gonna be so high. My knees are gonna be so cooked. I'm not even gonna jump that high." This guy was like bouncing balls on a men's net.
You know what? I honestly thought that I was still too short for a men's height net. It was actually not that bad.
You played really well. I thought you played really. You were clearing the net too. I honestly, maybe this is just because you were downplaying it so much, but I didn't think that you were gonna clear the net very much. But you were there. You had like maybe I think like half of your head above the net, which is still pretty good for men's height.
Are you calling me short?
For a volleyball player, you are a little short. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, I know, I know.
Mhm.
I'm vertically challenged.
Were you always short? Wait, okay, wait. Were you always
Wait, wait,
pause, pause, pause,
whoa.
pause, pause, pause,
Backtrack for
pause,
a
pause, pause.
second.
Were you always 5'9"? Like when you played in high school, were you like this height, or did you like get a growth spurt?
Yes, I was always short. No, I wasn't. I was actually shorter. Like in grade 9, I was like four. I actually don't know. I think it was like 4'10", 4'11". And then, I don't know, I drank a bunch of milk.
Yes, yes.
And then in grade 12, I think I was like 5'7", 5'8",
Wow.
something like that. Yo, it was still such a pain to try to like block.
Oh
Like the
yes.
guys are like very tall,
Oh yeah.
especially in like the level that we were playing at. Like, um, we were trying to make it off, so we had a bit of struggle, kind of in the playoffs. But um, there are a lot of teams that we were playing who played also in the OVA. So uh, like we just didn't have the same like skill level as them, or like the like mastery as them, because our passing was
Oh,
mid.
oh. Back to the fundamentals.
No, it's true. Like I remember our coach was always yelling at us to like pass up and pass high.
Mm.
So yeah, uh, playing men's recently was a lot of it. It was very different than what I remember. But again, high school was what, 10 years ago.
Yeah, you are a lot taller too, so it might be less, distance traveled in terms of going up.
Yeah, going up. Yeah, that's true.
Would you do another men's tournament if someone had asked you?
If someone asks,
What if you got asked to
maybe.
play middle for a men's tournament?
I'd be like, hell no.
What about middle for a co-ed tournament?
I'd be like, maybe. If it's a wreck.
If it's rec.
Yeah, if it's wreck, then maybe.
Speaking of rec tournaments,
What?
I think we should host a rec tournament. That would be so fun.
We could, yeah. I actually have been thinking about that, but I think I'm gonna wait until the summer once people are more free to do more things. But it's in the works.
Speaking of tournaments, did you know I did a reverses tournament?
Well, I was there
Oh.
watching. Oh, are you saying you as in the audience, or?
Yeah, the general
Ah,
public.
yeah.
So for those who don't know, reverses is a little different than like your standard volleyball tournament. So it's three girls and three guys. The net's at women's height, but you don't rotate. So you pick a position and you play that position basically for the game. I had to play middle. Yahoo!
Why don't you like playing middle?
um, I don't know if I'm just overthinking it, but my block timing is not good.
Block time is hard.
It's
Well, I mean,
hard,
a lot of
yeah.
the times the guys were hitting the back row, so
Mhm.
it's just timing is a little
Yeah.
different.
Oh yeah, and the whole point of reverses is the guys can only hit from the back row, so they can't cross the attack line when they hit. That's kind of the whole point of that tournament. And the girls are in the front; they have to block, and then the guys in the back, and they have to dig the hits and stuff. So yeah, I played middle. I going into it, I thought I was setting, but then I think a bunch of people on my team, like I was a free agent, so a bunch of people on my team dropped out, and then I ended up getting put in middle, and it was so funny because there's another girl and um I think she was fairly new. Like someone had told me that she was relatively new, so we had to kind of walk her through how the, you know, how reverses works and stuff like that. She was put in power because usually power is like the easiest um, position to play in the front. And I think halfway through, she was like, "Can I try middle?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, we can switch." Oh yeah, oh, say less. So I got to play power, which was like, oh, the dream. But then she was getting so many block touches, and I was like, "Girl, teach me your timing. Like, how are you doing this?"
I feel like you kind of have to visualize like taking the ball away like midair.
That's a good way to visualize it. Yeah. Is
Yeah,
that how you would describe like timing your block to someone who's learning?
like you're trying to snatch the ball out of the air, like
Mm-hmm.
mid.
Yeah.
What do you call it? Trajectory. Trajectory. That was hard.
That's a good way to. That's what I was like visualizing, but I think when someone is sitting back row, it just throws off my timing completely because I'm either super early or I'm super late.
Yeah, it's hard.
It is hard. It is hard.
I I mean like even when I'm blocking like back row hits, it's hard because you don't just have like the up down, you also have the left right. Does that make sense?
Blocking button 4D.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, 3D because up down left right,
Oh,
right?
fine.
Oh wait, is that one? I don't know
I'm just calling
math
it 4D
physics.
because it's very hard. I don't know. I just couldn't figure it out, but
It's
it was
it's hard.
fun. It was fun. I think everyone should try to play reverses at least once in their
The,
lifetime.
the last reverses tournament that we did was pretty fun.
That was fun. I also had to play middle for that tournament, and I was a lot worse at volleyball.
But a lot of the girls were helping you out, and
They
you
were.
actually did really well.
I did okay. I did
You
not
did really
block.
well for somebody who was learning how to
That
play
is true.
middle.
That is true. I did not block anything. I got a bunch of touches, but I never like roofed anyone. And it was like I was talking to one of the guys at this tournament, like this the most recent one that I did, because I knew some of the people going, and he was like, "Yo, man, just block it." Like I hit tape when I hit back row, and in my head I was like, "There's like maybe a 5% chance that I'll get to block it." I only touched one of the hits, and it like bent my finger so far back. After my finger was like throbbing, I was like, "Bro, please don't do that again."
Yeah, I think that's another thing about blocking that's terrifying.
Is getting your fingers broken.
Risking your I have a good story about that.
Okay.
Can I?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So in high school, we were playing against one of the like tougher teams. Like we were home, and then they came, and there was a guy who was swinging like crazy in the middle. So our middle blocker went up to, we call him 1 inch vert because he's really really tall and he only jumps like an inch to block. But when he went to block and his pinky like blew up. Like yeah, I think the dude spiked it straight into his pinky, and he was like it was like dangling, and he had to like carry it in his hand.
Oh. Ugh.
Yeah, it's the risks of blocking. It was nasty.
Yeah, so that's reverses for you. I don't think that's ever gonna happen to me because I don't think I'll ever put myself in a situation where that's
I
a
think
possibility.
at the level that we play, I don't think it'll happen. Also, like I don't know, fingers are usually pretty strong, but
Hmm.
that dude was crushing it. It was crazy.
Hmm. I will say though, there was someone on my team who was a little shorter, and she didn't go up to block because there was just no point. Like she couldn't clear the net, unfortunately. What would you recommend to people who have a height disadvantage but still want to play volleyball?
Oh, I don't think it's like something to be. Unfortunately, this is like a height game. Like you're just at an advantage if you're taller. Um, but if you are not as tall, like it just means you're closer to the floor and you can. Um, I would say you're probably better off being really good at passing. Because I think that middles have a tough time passing because they can't get low. So if you're shorter, you're closer to the ground, you have more time to receive a ball,
Yeah.
which is also probably why libs are typically like shorter on the team.
Yeah. Shorter,
How tall
quicker.
is it Yamamoto?
I think Yamamoto is 5'9". I think he's your height.
Yeah, he's relatively short in terms of like men's volleyball.
Brother is quick though. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, well that's what I mean. Like if you're shorter, you're closer to the floor, you can get lower, you can
Hmm.
grab the ball.
I have seen short people who are able to play volleyball quite well too against taller players. I think it's very impressive when I see someone really short hit against like a taller player and can hit over their block or something like that. I've seen it happen before. I'm always like jaw on the floor like what am I watching? This is the coolest thing I've ever seen.
Oh yeah, yeah. Actually, I think I know like what you're talking about. And specifically, there's one person that we played with who I think the last time we saw him, we're like he was jumping like crazy, and then we were like talking to him, and he was like, "Oh, I still want to jump higher." I'm like,
I'm like
"Bro,
what?
you're going to be in the ceiling. Your head is going to be in the ceiling."
Yeah. He's shorter than me and he probably jumps like if he were to like do like a dunking contest, he could probably dunk over someone.
He can probably dunk,
Yeah.
like easily dunk.
Mhm. Very cool.
Yeah, cool dude, great guy.
Yeah. It's not necessarily a bad thing if you're a little shorter and you want to play volleyball. You just have to condition yourself a little to um have like a bigger higher vertical. So,
More work involved. Oh, yeah. I think the one thing that discouraged me before playing, like coming back to volleyball, was because I was short. Like I would have liked to do more competitive volleyball, but I just don't have the height for it. So
yeah, if you're especially as a guy, I think if you're anything shorter than 6 feet, like you have no choice but to try and be a lib.
yeah,
It really sucks, but
yeah. I don't know. I've accepted it. I have other sports that I can play, so I don't really mind.
so okay, let's say I call it assembling the Avengers, but in reality, it's just let's say you had to like put together a team to compete in tournaments on behalf of Tsunami. What would you look for in players that you would put on this team?
Well, okay. Do you have your fundamentals down? I think that's like I think everybody should know that. Like you're looking for fundamentals. I think you're also looking for team chemistry because if you have somebody on the team that can't manage their own like mental and their own behavior and their body language and their mentality, then it just brings the whole like team chemistry down.
Mhm.
Uh, so like I think you're looking for people who can work together as a team, like who have that team teamwork ability, like the ability to work together and work with other people. I think that's an important aspect. Um, and I think you're also looking for like players and athletes who are willing to learn and who are easily coachable. I think that's another important aspect. And I think the last one would be shoot, I had it at the top of my head. I think the last one would be like their tenacity,
Mm.
like how badly do you want the point and how badly are you willing to lay your body out to get the point for your team or the win for your team. What was that? Four things. Yeah. That's yeah, I think that's what I'm looking for. Like it's not necessarily like obviously I'm looking for like players who have like the skill, but at the same time I'm also looking for um a good team.
Yeah.
I'm not looking for an individual. I'm
Mhm.
looking for a team.
There's lots of players out there that are good at hitting and good at passing and all that kind of stuff. So it's not,
Yeah, like the skill is there. You'll find the skill. It's
Mhm.
like would you rather have a team of a bunch of like ego hitters who get mad once they like get a really bad set or something, or who who don't get a good set?
Me. No.
Or would you rather have a team who's like extremely average but uh manage to push and work hard as a team and encourage each other and carry each other and lift each
Mhm.
other up?
You would not believe how big of a toll a weak mental will have on a team. Especially like if you're at a tournament and people are stressed out and like nervous to compete. It's like
Yeah.
mental is extremely important.
There was something that I saw on I think it was Instagram. Um it was a coach um talking about like what you can control on the court when you're playing a game. And one of the things that they stated was your body language and your mentality when you're on the court is something that you can control. Like your skill, you can control kind of, but you that's what practice is for. In the moment, you're in control of your mindset and your um, how you see the game. So I think that is an important point that is overlooked in terms of volleyball and
Mhm.
being on a team.
Mhm. Yeah, I don't know. I used to have a really weak mental playing in tournaments cuz this is the issue. I would go into this tournament and expect too much from like my team, but also like myself. Like I would think like yeah, I can save any ball, which is not true. Have you I don't know if you guys have ever seen me run after a ball, but it's like I don't
Wait,
know how to run.
it depends. Because are you like playing silly goofy volleyball? Because if you're playing silly goofy volleyball, it's so funny. Like you'll put your hands together and just like
Oh my
waddle into
gosh,
a
I
ball.
love doing that, but it's turned into a bad habit because now I'm starting to do it at tournaments and I look like an idiot doing it. But like at tournaments before when I first started playing again, I had like such high expectations. And I'll be honest, I got humbled like pretty quickly. So now, even like for this reverses tournament, like my team was definitely one of the weaker teams just because like the players were relatively new to the sport and stuff. Like we were just there to kind of, have fun and whatnot. So, but even at this tournament, I was being a little too silly, I'm not gonna lie. Also because I knew a lot of the players that I was playing against, so the whole time I was just yelling and screaming and laughing.
People get competitive.
Yeah,
Like it's, I think it's fine.
yeah, but mental is very important, I think. So now, like going into tournaments, even when we played in that rec tournament for Vortex volleyball, it was like going into it, we were like, yeah,
Was that a
we're
shout out? That's
we're.
literally that was a subtle shout out.
Hey
How
yo,
very
shout out
rude.
to Vortex volleyball, bro. That rec tournament was a lot of fun, lots of fun. I fear we did not draw the pool that we wanted, but again, not anyone's fault because we were a little late. I wish we drew the pool that was a little easier in my opinion. Um and then the other pool had more like intermediate level teams, and I really wanted for our team to play in that pool cuz all our friends were in that pool.
Yeah, but I still had a lot of fun with the
I
other
still had a
teams
lot of
though.
fun.
They were good sports,
They were all good
very good
sports. We were
sports.
good sports.
I was there to just have fun,
We were there
honestly.
having fun. Everyone passed like rec players. I was suffering.
Because you were the setter.
I was suffering. I was like, guys, like let's have fun. Let's work on our fundamentals. You get your reps in and stuff like that. I'm like, it's a rec tournament, so like the ball should be relatively free to pass. This ball could be like an underhand serve, and I would watch Mark like swing at it and try and bump it at me, and it would go into the wall, and I'd be like, man, like why?
Sorry.
But it was fun. I had lots of fun.
Okay, in terms of like rec players, or I guess like people who are coming to the sport, like what's a good like um how would I say this? Like how can you tell you're getting better and like what should you expect? What's a good standard for like how you're progressing?
Ooh, that's a good question. Um, I wish I so wish that the Javelin host rating system was a little bit more polished and more standardized because I definitely feel like that would be a very good way to kind of gauge what level you are as a player. Unfortunately, that's not the case. But also because the way to standardize like a player's skill or volleyball skill or level is quite subjective right now. Um, I would say the best way to kind of see how you're progressing is just to watch yourself play. Like at all of the drop-ins that we go to, or most of the drop-ins that we go to, usually there's someone recording. The clinics that we host, usually we're recording as well. There are other people that do pop-up clinics. Shout out to Game Time Arena. Um, they also record all their clinics that they do, and that's how I got better was watching myself play, and kind of watching myself progress and seeing what I needed to improve on and what I couldn't improve on. For example, I actually showed this to Mark. I showed him a video of a clinic that I went to, which was like a passing clinic, and I was like,
Wait, you have to give them context because you watched this like relatively recently.
"Oh, this is relatively recently, but this
Like we
clinic,
we watched back at the
yes,
yeah.
this clinic that we watched, it was like almost a year ago that I went to. It was a passing clinic."
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah,
not
what about
gonna
it?
I'm
Yeah,
not
what
gonna
about it?
link it. I'm not even gonna drop the date. I'm not even gonna like show you because oh
Ask for the
my
link. I'll
goodness.
send it to you guys.
My passing was horrendous. I was like they were teaching us how to like dig down balls. This is when I learned that you're not actually supposed to swing into a down ball. You just absorb the blow and that's what'll like pop it up.
You should stay still, yeah.
But the way I was digging these down balls, it looked like I had like spaghetti for arms. It was so embarrassing to watch. But then looking back on that and seeing like how I've progressed, like watching either like a game now or a drop in now, and the way I pass now is like you can see the improvement because I don't look like I'm afraid to bump the ball when I'm digging.
So okay, so then what would you say um like in comparing you from back then and now, like what was the thing that made you look better as a player like now and before than versus before?
I think that'll be subjective for every player. For me, back then, I was. This is going to be a little of a sensitive topic for myself, but I'm just going to talk about it because I think it's very important to talk about this. I was very concerned about the way I looked when I was playing. So I know a lot of younger girls are like that. They're very concerned about how they look when they're playing volleyball because, like I don't know if some of you guys have seen some of the faces I make when I'm playing now. Especially when I'm setting. I'm setting and like my first of all, I'm a little cross-eyed without my glasses. So I'm like trying to look at the ball and I'm trying to run and it just I look like I have like two left feet sometimes. But before I was very worried about the way I looked when I played, and that resulted in me just developing bad habits because I wanted to look cool, but I didn't want to put in the technique to play cool, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So now it's kind of I've moved past from that, and now I'm more worried about just being able to play technically well because I don't want to injure myself because I'm old. Um, but now I'm more focused on developing myself. It's kind of like when you go to a gym and you're kind of worried that people are looking at you and judging you, but in reality, like no one really cares. It's kind of
Yeah, I
for
think it
me.
just comes with time.
Yeah, for me, it just came with time. It was kind of getting over that mental block. And I think I think the day I stopped caring about what people thought of me, and I just focused on developing myself as a player, is kind of like where I pivoted and started to really get better.
Yeah. Um I think um finding improvement is more specific to like what you want to see in yourself. Really, like when you're trying to get better, you're trying to like improve the things that you want to improve. Was that proper English?
Yeah, it's subjective, right? Like everyone is different, right? Everyone has different
Yeah.
things that they want to improve on and stuff. So it just depends on like you as a player and where you want to be and XYZ. Like this is like me shooting for something that's extremely unrealistic because one, I'm old, but also I'm
Are you serious? You're not old. Stop saying that.
I'm also very busy, but like this year I want to play nine man, but do I think I'm good enough for nine man? Probably not. Not even on the starter team. I think I'd be good enough to maybe join like
Not with that mentality. Come
yeah.
on.
But that's kind of what I want to work towards. So whenever I'm playing now, I'm very focused on like my fundamentals and being consistent. But again, it's different for everyone,
Well, there you go. Like I think you saying that you want to work on your fundamentals is already working towards something that's a little bit more
Yeah.
objective.
Yeah.
Because I think that like this is okay. I'm gonna relate this to like what I studied in university. When like you're trying to standardize, um, I guess behaviors, it's hard because like how do you put like your mental state into like numbers,
Mhm.
and like how do you prove something is right or wrong if
Mhm.
there's so many people who think like different things
Yeah.
or have totally different like mentalities for a whole crazy amount of situations.
Mhm.
um I think in volleyball, I think it's a little bit easier because then you could um like look at each specific skill and like see how you're
Mhm.
doing in terms of those
Mhm.
skills. So how's your passing?
Yeah.
uh are you doing it consistently? uh like we all know that when you serve receive, you're supposed to pass the ball nice and high
Mhm.
to the setter. I think that's for like passing. For hitting, like there's a whole like thing that happens there, but
Mhm. I will say it
um
is also like improvement looks different to every person.
that is also true.
It's very important to note that, you're probably not going to improve at the same rate as someone else, right? It's different. It depends on your physique, right? It depends
Yeah,
on
natural skill,
natural skill, genetics. There's a lot of stuff.
athleticism.
Yeah, exactly. So,
Yeah.
if you see someone jumping, and they have like a 40-inch vertical and you see them getting drastically better at volleyball because they're blessed to be super athletic, right? Like myself, like it's like, how can I compare myself to someone like that when I'm not that athletic? So it's be realistic with yourself, right?
Yeah, I think a better way of seeing your progress is like setting yourself like what's your baseline right now, and then where do you want to get to. But like you have to be realistic with it.
Hmm.
Like
How do you track your
okay,
progress? Like, how would you track
uh,
it for yourself?
for me, I don't know. For volleyball, I haven't really been like trying to. Okay, I lied. I do want to get better. My setting has been.
Yo, you set pretty well the other day. I will give you that. You did
I
very
think that's
well.
because like I was kind of forced to be soft with it because my thumb is wrecked still. I gotta get that checked. Um, yeah, my thumb is just a little messed up. Uh, I think that what I do is when I'm driving home, I think about like how well I did one specific thing, and then um, at least then I know that's my baseline, and then the next time I play, I'll focus on that specific skill,
Mhm.
and then I'll be like, okay, did I do better this time, or did I do worse compared to the last time I played?
Mhm. You know what?
Oh,
This is actually something that me and Mark do a lot. Usually after a drop in, because we drive together and stuff. We actually talk about in the car like how the drop in went. It's kind of like a your year in review, but instead of your year in review, it's the drop in review.
when I yeah, we call them wrap ups.
Wrap ups, yeah. Like we talk about what went well, what didn't go well, something cool that we did, right? And then we talk about like, oh, what do you want to work on for next time? So if you have like a partner or a friend that you carpool with or something, it's actually very helpful to talk about it because then it puts it into perspective, like what you um, lacked in or what you want to work on or what you did really well in. It's kind of like a
You know,
report card.
I actually really do like that we do that. This is something that I'm genuinely realizing that we do,
Hmm.
and that is actually I do very much appreciate.
Yeah, I like it because mostly
Yeah.
Mark will be like, "Wow, that dump you did was really cool," and I'm like, "Yeah, I took a."
Okay, I have another question. Um, in terms of somebody like in terms of skill, like do you think that skill is based on you should base someone like their skill on like their dedicated position or how well they are in terms of like
Ooh,
all around player
this is
because
a
like
very good
you can
question.
have like an incredibly good lib but obviously they're not going to be the best at hitting but they're still a really really good player
Uh huh.
like who do you think is better like that person or somebody who's like average if not a little bit better in like every single aspect of the game?
Are you gonna
Who do you
compare
think is better?
myself and you? Who's better, Mark? No, I'm kidding.
Wait, what?
It's like me and you, cause I'm very good at one thing, but I'm terrible at the others, and Mark is very like all around a good player,
But like mid, yeah,
but
sure.
he lacks like what I'm good at. He lacks, and which is why me and him are a very good duo. Call us if you ever
Perfect
need
fit.
players on your team. I think it's subjective. It is very, very subjective because it depends on what you want to do as a player, right? If you're playing drop-ins all the time and you don't ever intend on playing tournaments or playing at a competitive level, um, then it's for me. I really appreciate players that can play all the positions at a drop-in because they're very flexible, right? If you're playing in a tournament, then I would obviously rather a player be better in their dedicated role. Does that make sense?
So it depends on where you play.
Depends on where you play. Yeah, because at a tournament, it's like if I'm making a team or I'm forming a team and I'm picking players, I would pick players who are extremely good at their dedicated role. But in a drop in, I would actually prefer a player that's more all around a good player because then they can flex. Because the whole point of drop-ins is to it's very social, but it's also you want to develop your skills at drop-ins because that's honestly like realistically that's the only place you can really develop your skills in other than leagues and stuff like that, right?
I love how you said they can flex.
Like
That's such a gamer way of saying it.
flex Q.
Oh goodness. Okay.
What about you?
Uh, I would say somebody who's dedicated to their craft is a much better player than an all arounder.
Oh.
Yeah, because if you're dedicated to your position, you are most likely playing in comp level.
Yep.
And that means you're aiming for like mastery in what you do.
Mhm.
So like in the in terms of like a lib, like you are incredibly good at passing and receiving.
Yeah.
In terms of setting, you're so dedicated to setting. Like you could probably hit like you probably know how to hit, but that's not your like craft.
Yeah.
So
I feel like um I'm gonna talk about me and you for a second because if you look at me and Mark, you can probably tell that I'm a setter and Mark is a pin hitter. You can probably just tell just by the way we play, cause
I'm a lib. What are you talking about?
that's not true.
I'm a rec player. What are you talking about?
If you look at us, like you can tell because one, I can't hit, and two, Mark can't set.
Hell yeah.
But
Double
that's
the
how I
ball
think
every
that's a
day.
good way to be able to tell whether or not we're like all around. I think you're a good player. But if we were playing at a tournament and you were setting, I'd be like that guy definitely is not a setter.
What are you talking about? I know how to. I know how to. I'm just
Or it's
kidding.
like
I
the
can't
same
even
thing.
say it.
Like I'm playing power for a tournament coming up, and I know that when we go to this tournament, they're gonna look at me and they're gonna be like, she doesn't know how to play power, or she doesn't. She's not like her main role is not power. But I feel like that's also a good indication of, um, it's a good indication of knowing that you've basically picked a role and you've decided to work on that one specific role is when you're recognized as that. So, you know,
Yeah, I think
again,
that's fair.
I think it's a balance. If you want to be a good all around player, there's nothing wrong with that. I think it's good to always work on all the fundamentals of volleyball. But if you, I think, want to play at the higher level, Marcus, right, you should focus on one position and um, focus on like the skills that come with that one position or the techniques that come with that.
Yeah, yeah, fair enough. Um, okay, I have more for you.
Oh.
It is actually funny because we never do this. How often do you stretch?
if I had
Or do you ever stretch?
if I had $1 for every single time I did a proper stretch, I would have $1. And the one time I actually did a proper stretch and warm up, I played one game and sprained my ankle so bad I couldn't walk for a month.
Yeah. I was there. Oh man, I was so worried. Like I saw your ankle just go 90 degrees. I'm like, yo, that's not supposed to happen.
Yeah, I was like, you know what? Because I think the reason why I actually did a proper stretch and warm up was because I actually thought we could win that tournament. So I was like, I'm gonna warm up properly. I'm gonna stretch because it's gonna be a long day because I want to do well at this tournament because I think we can win. I sprained my ankle in the first set.
Okay, to your defense, it wasn't your fault.
It wasn't my fault, but that kind of just discouraged me, and now I just don't stretch. I'm just like, you know what? It's whatever. If I get injured, I get injured. Can't be worse
It's
than the
bad
ankle.
juju.
It's bad juju because God forbid I warm up and I sprain my ankle.
Bad juju. That's funny.
It's kind of
I
like
think it's go go
it's
go
kind of
go
like
go.
you know when I'm always like talking about roulette and I'm like I have to do this before it's like I have to like sip my coffee like 7 times and then like touch my head and then high five like my dog or something before I do like a spin.
Oh,
It's like that. It's like a ritual, you know? A
superstition.
superstition. So now I think if I do a full stretch and warm up, I'm going to injure myself.
Yeah, yeah. Like, I think it's important to stretch though.
It is. It is. Do you stretch?
It's. I actually was stretching the other day when you were gone. I was stretching with Stella on the ground.
Do you stretch before a volleyball game?
No, because you're supposed to technically stretch after you've done some sort of dynamic stretching.
Do you stretch after a volleyball game?
No. You know what? I'm the type to stretch when I feel the DOMS.
Oh yeah.
Do you know what DOMS is?
What's that?
Delayed onset muscle soreness.
Damn.
It's basically like your body builds up lactic acid after your muscles are breaking down,
Mhm.
and because it builds up, it creates this like soreness that doesn't like happen right away. So like when you go home from volleyball, like, you'll feel sore, but you'll feel even more sore later on,
Yeah.
like a day or two after. So like, for example, the other day I played badminton for like 2 hours. Like we were going like pretty hard, I guess, ish. And I didn't really feel like extra sore until today. So then that's why yesterday I was starting to feel sore and then I stretched.
Mhm. It is very important you stretch after a volleyball game. Do as I say, not as I do. The only
Yeah.
reason why I don't do it is because I have a superstition that I'm gonna like severely injure myself again. It was like it's like
Yeah.
PTSD. It's like oh, it's like if I it's like conditioning. If I do this, I'm gonna do this. This is gonna
Yeah.
happen. You know what I mean?
It's also important to do like a good warm up too.
Yeah, yeah. It's important to warm up.
Dude,
Sorry.
I was just gonna say do your warm up first
Yep.
and then stretch.
Yep.
Or do dynamic stretching. That's also good too. Search it up.
Mhm.
Google's there for a reason. Yeah. Okay, last one.
Okay.
Um there has been more noticeably like equipment that you can buy to kind of like improve your game.
Mhm.
Shoes is one of them, but that
Yeah.
was like that's
We went
an
over
obvious
that.
one.
Yeah.
But there's like insoles that can like apparently increase your vert. I don't know the
Yeah.
mechanics of that, but there's that. There's like a spray. I tried this like a couple weeks ago. You like spray it on the bottom on your sole
Yeah.
of your shoe, and it makes it like extremely sticky, especially in like really slippery
Ooh.
gyms.
Okay.
I think where we play is like it's not that much of a problem, but I think when you're playing in like school gyms, I think it's uh, kind of worth getting.
Yeah.
What do you think about? I call it performance enhancing equipment.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna talk about something that's not volleyball related, but related to this topic. I'm sure you've heard of it. A lot of people have probably heard of it because it was all over the news. There was a speedo that came out,
Yeah.
and it was like apparently it was like quote unquote new technology, like top of the line, blah 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 blah. A bunch of people wear it to the Olympics, and apparently this technology or the speedo is so good that they ended up banning it from the Olympics, and now they can't wear them.
I watched a YouTube video on this a couple days ago.
Yeah, so I think that it's I don't use any of it because I just I don't believe in spending money. It's like pay to win. It's like a pay to win system. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um personally, it's like if I didn't have the money to be able to first of all, like the insoles that we're talking about, they're the Vickery insoles. They're extremely expensive. I don't have the money to be able to purchase something like that. And I feel like if you have the money, by all means, like, you know, if you can get better at a sport, or if you can enhance your performance at a sport by legal means, by all means, you know, do it. But I don't have the money for that. So to me, I think it's only fair that I play at the level of someone else who can't afford Vickery and Souls.
Hmm.
Like I played Hearthstone before it was pay to win, and when it became not the video game reference, but when it became pay to win, it was like there was no chance that I could keep up. Like it was terrible. I basically quit the game like almost immediately. But I know there's also an arm sleeve too that is supposed to help you hit harder because it compresses like your joints or something like that. Like it helps you hit a ball harder because it helps you develop more like energy or something when you hit the ball. I don't know the science behind it,
Interesting.
but
I feel like a lot of the kind of the equipment that you can buy, especially for volleyball or specifically for volleyball, I don't think that they're like, cause okay, for the speedo that you were talking about,
mm-hmm.
that one was like you were shaving off like seconds,
Yeah, which is
and
crazy.
seconds is huge in terms of
Yeah,
swimming. For volleyball, I think it's a little bit more nuanced,
yeah.
cause like
The insoles claim to
what are
add
you
like
improving?
half an inch to your vertical. I think
Okay, but that's not much. You can like
it's not
stretch a
much.
little further.
For $150, I'm like, it better be adding at least 2 to 3 inches to my vertical. But again, like science can only go so far. So
Yeah. I mean, like if it's something that is like a very minimal addition but provides a huge boost, like um someone sent it to us, like those it was like moon boots or
oh, the
whatever, or like
moon
the,
boots. Oh my
is it moon
goodness.
boots
They're like
or like the,
so they're like boots that you wear. I feel like you're gonna twist your ankle trying to play volleyball in them, but they're the boots that have this huge spring on them. People wear them for like Zumba or dance classes.
it's like dancing,
They're
yeah.
dance shoes. Like you jump in them, and it's supposed to help you like burn calories and
Wait,
stuff.
can you imagine?
Jumping and hitting a ball.
Yeah. How crazy that would be?
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Like I think it just depends, honestly. I'm not opposed to it. I don't think there's anything on the market that's like the speedo equivalent in volleyball, but
I think the shoes, the spray for
the
the
spray is
shoes,
nice. The spray is
I
nice.
like that, and I think that um
I don't think it gives you like an unfair advantage, you know what I mean?
I don't think it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Like, I don't think it's crazy. I think it does help you, like stick,
Yeah.
move laterally a
Or
little bit easier.
they could just clean the courts.
That's what I mean. Yeah. Well, it like for example, like badminton, typically you play like professionally. If you were to play professionally, you play on
Mhm.
mats,
Mhm.
and the mats are made of rubber,
Mhm.
so it doesn't matter what you come onto the courts with.
Mhm.
You're going to stick to the ground.
Mhm.
The only thing is you can't slide.
Mhm.
So unfortunately, in volleyball, like you have to slide, and
Mhm.
the you should have like,
Yeah. It's like min
I don't know.
maxing, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that volleyball is such a technical sport
Mhm.
that it's gonna be hard to
Yeah.
create something that's so ridiculously like
Mhm.
um um it adds so much to the game
Yeah. I'm
that
sure if
it
anything
gets
ever
banned.
came out like that, it would probably get banned pretty quickly. So.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
Mhm.
Um. Well, okay. What other are there any other like performance? Oh, knee pads. I feel like knee pads is something worth talking about.
Okay. Well, okay, I'll talk about this. The recent trend with knee pads, I think in women's volleyball, is they're wearing them under the kneecap now.
What?
Yeah, they don't cover their whole knee pad with, or sorry, they don't cover their whole knee with the knee pads. I started doing this too. I get it. I get it. I get it. They put the knee pads slightly under their knee, so your knee joint is still mobile.
Hmm.
Mhm. You don't wear knee pads, so you can't even try it.
I don't wear knee pads. I got rid of knee pads when I was in high school. I think when I was playing, okay, in elementary school we were giving knee pads by the school, so we were kind of forced to use them. It was nice. They're like the like really thick ones that you can just like slam your knees onto the ground. Um, and then when I moved to high school, I was confused because I'm like, where are the knee pads? And I realized you have to get knee pads yourself. And then I got knee pads. And then I remember having a conversation with my coach after I managed to make the team. I don't know how because I'm not even that good at volleyball. I wasn't really that good at volleyball at the time. But I joined the team, and somebody wasn't wearing knee pads. And then the coach was like, "Yeah, why are you wearing knee pads if you just learn how to dive properly?" And I was like, "Wait, there's a proper way to dive?" And she taught us how to dolphin dive, or like pancake. She taught us how to do that. And then I just never wore knee pads since, because it just makes more sense. Like your knee mobility. I think that was something that you were talking about earlier
That's like min
with.
maxing. Is I tried playing volleyball once without knee pads because like I grew up playing with knee pads my whole. I think a lot of women wear knee pads. A lot of men don't. I think is kind of the trend is what I've seen. But
Yeah, I agree with that.
probably because men have better core strength, so they can dive a little easier.
That would make sense.
Yeah, but I grew up wearing knee pads and I just never grew out of it. This one time I was like, I'm gonna try playing without them because I kind of want more mobility when I jump. Terrible. I couldn't dive. I couldn't. I couldn't hustle for anything. My knees were like, no, 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 no. We're not touching the floor.
It could also be like a mental thing. Like if
It's
you
a
have your
mental
knee
thing.
pads, you have the like the insurance on your knees.
Yeah, yeah.
But I definitely will say learning to play volleyball without knee pads hurts, because you learn by getting hurt
Yeah.
essentially when you're diving, because your knee slams on the ground and you're like, I don't want to do that again.
Yeah, I think knee pads is fine. I think as a beginner, you should for your own safety get them, but then like the second you're starting to get comfortable, take them off and get used to playing without them.
I think it's worth like trying without them, but if you absolutely can't play without knee pads, then it's fine. There's also like better knee pads that have come out.
Yeah. A lot more knee
Um,
coverage.
knee coverage, knee support. I think that's another thing too. I think, well, kind of going to the topic of like knee support in kind of that realm of equipment. I think it's important to strengthen your knee and do workouts for your knee, cuz yo, I'm telling you, like, putting a knee sleeve on will only do so much. If you like strengthen your knee and work on stretching and strengthening those like muscles and evening out the kind of the muscles that are in your knees, I think you're doing much better. I mean, obviously, like if you had an exploded knee, then you, you have to. But
Yeah.
I think in prevention,
My
it's
brother has
important.
knee problems. So he what he did, well first of all, he I think his knees go inwards. I think it's just the way that his bones
Is that called like knock knee or something?
it's something like that. Yeah, he got it cuz he fences. So
Oh, I can see how that could
because his
happen.
knees are always bent and he's always lunging.
Yeah,
First of
yeah.
all, you think that for a guy who fences, he could jump higher than a foot in the air, but no, the man can't.
Okay, don't roast your brother.
I have a higher vertical than my brother. Like, how does that even make sense?
Actually,
I'm pretty sure I have a higher vertical than him.
yeah,
Um,
crazy.
I'm lying through my teeth right now, bro.
He's
If you're
calling you out.
if you're listening, don't call me out. Um, but he had knee problems. I think when he was a little younger. One because he doesn't stretch. Two because he doesn't warm up. And he's like going into like a fencing competition, like just raw dogging it. And I'm like, bro, you gotta stretch. You gotta drink water. And he was like, no.
Ooh. Yeah, drinking water is another one,
Yeah.
an important one, because it like you're supposed to lubricate
Yeah.
the knees.
So he ended up one day coming. He woke up, I think, with like knee pain or like leg pain. So we ended up taking him to the doctor, and the doctor was like, his bone in his knee is just growing kind of in the wrong direction,
Oh shoot, no way.
or something like that. And then
Because like all pressure, like when he's playing, or
it's just the way that he's playing, and he's just I think he just didn't condition his knees properly, and
oh
I think
that's yeah.
that's why he can't jump very high. Um,
Oh,
so he's still young, so he still has time to fix it. But I made it very clear, like, you need to start conditioning and strengthening your knee, because if you don't, like, by the time you turn like 25 or whatever and your body stops developing, like, you're going to be paying the price for it, especially if he wants to continue to be active. I was like, you have to condition your knee. And he was like, yeah, man, like, I know I'm drinking protein powder. I'm like, that's not what I mean. I'm like, I mean, you need to
protein powder.
I'm like, you need
Yeah,
to
fix your knee
stretch
with
and
protein powder.
exercise. But like, he still has the time to be able to fix that, and it's
Yeah.
unfortunate that a lot of the community is like, they're adults and stuff, and they've kind of are approaching the age where their body can no longer like.
Well, I think you can still like,
I think you can strengthen your knee and stuff.
yeah, you can still work on that.
My brother's just kind of like an extreme case of it, but it's basically like, the point that I'm getting at is like, if you have an issue like with your body, like there's like like something that is like getting injured, or something that you feel like is going to get injured, like my ankles, for example. I have like
Crazy.
I have like chopsticks for ankles, bro. You could like breathe on my ankles the wrong way and they'll break. But
But I think the ankles are a little bit different because um, your metatarsals. Is it metatarsals?
I don't know. I've
It's the like little tiny
yeah.
bones in your foot. They're all like connected with
Yeah.
ligaments. Is it ligaments or tendons? Tendons are the
Something
ones
like
that
that.
connect to the bone with muscle. Uh, the ligaments are the ones that are connecting bone to bone.
Mhm.
So I think it's more likely like
Yeah.
I think that is just stretching.
Well, yeah, the point that I'm getting at is just take care of yourselves. Like, my ankles are a
Yeah.
different story also, because I've sprained both ankles like twice. I'm pretty sure.
What once incredibly like
Like, my right ankle, I sprained once while skiing, and I was in a cast for 2 months. And
wait wait what?
yeah, this was way back in the day. Okay, wait. Let me give you my injury history. My left ankle, I sprained in grade 7, and it's swell like. Well, first of all, I was like tiny in grade 7, but I sprained it playing volleyball because someone stepped over the goddamn line.
Wow,
And I remember, like, when I sprained, I couldn't walk. Like, I was like balancing on one foot, and I was still playing on one foot,
that's rough.
which is terrible decision. I should just sat out and rested and healed my ankle.
You know that's crazy. Continue and I'll
It's that's
tell
a
me.
we won, first of all, because I was cracked. I'm joking. That's a lie. I was terrible at volleyball in grade
Okay,
7.
tell us what about your other?
So I sprained my left ankle in grade 7, and then I
Okay,
rolled it in high school. Um,
oh, the same one.
this is my left ankle. My right ankle, I sprained it while skiing, and it was a terrible sprain. Like, they had to put it in a cast, and I was in a cast for 2 months. Um, and then it was just because I fell, and my, your ski boot is like a boot.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So the ski basically like went inwards, and then like I kind of flipped, and then my ankle just bent the wrong way, and then my right ankle got sprained really badly. I couldn't walk for like weeks or months or whatever.
Holy crap!
And then I sprained it again in the opposite direction, playing
That's
volleyball.
crazy.
So my ankle has been sprained both ways. So if you really think about it, it cancels each other out.
I don't know about that.
But
That's
so
crazy.
I have weak ankles to begin with, but the way I try to prevent another injuries, I wear ankle braces. So,
Yeah,
do what you can
sure.
to take care of yourself is the point that I'm trying
Yeah.
to get at. Yeah.
I think it's also like like proper mechanics. Just be safe.
Oh yes,
Like
yes, proper
practice
mechanics.
proper. One thing that I know that people don't realize is important is landing properly.
Oh my gosh, I
Like
know.
yo, I saw this video of I think it was like um professional volleyball in the Europe,
Mhm.
where this girl went up to hit, like she was a pin hitter. She swung, and when
Mhm.
she landed, she was sideways, and when she touched the ground, her knees went the wrong way,
Ooh.
like not forward back, like to the right,
Yeah.
and it completely bent, and then she fell,
Yeah.
so it kept on bending, and then when she finally got up, it like flicked back to the
That is.
position.
Can you think of like the popping noise that it would make when it?
Oh my goodness. I've seen in high school I did triple jump and I've seen somebody's knee explode. It's crazy. But yeah. Do you think that or how many injuries do you think I've had?
Your thumb. You need to get your thumb checked out.
I need
Like
to get my thumb checked.
I know we already went over this. Please go get your thumb checked out. I fear
Yeah.
you've got a microfracture in your thumb.
Yeah, probably.
Your thumb. I know your shoulder is completely screwed.
Not completely. I think it used to be a lot worse, but um yeah.
I know your shoulder is a little messed up. You have an ankle injury.
That has recovered,
Yeah.
I would say.
You have
Yeah.
an ankle. You had an ankle injury. I know you have back problems. I don't know if I'm just listing stuff because like you're getting older or if it's just like actual.
Okay. All
um,
right.
and I know you have a finger that's dislocated. I think your
I do.
pinky. Yeah.
Well, I don't. I think it's dislocated. Oh, yeah. Okay, you can count it as dislocated.
Other than that, you're a little delulu because you think you're a better setter than me sometimes.
Yeah, but that's mental, not physical. So we don't talk about it. Uh,
Am I right?
there's also my knee. My knee.
Oh yes, you have weak knees. Not weak knees.
Not weak. Not
Yes.
weak. Not weak.
Oh, oh,
Well,
oh, oh, oh.
sometimes when I look at you, no, I'm just kidding.
Oh, that's
I'm
very
not kidding.
sweet.
Um,
Yeah, I
I
know
do think
your knees. You have some knee problems too. Like sometimes, and you get shin splints a lot.
not like as much as I used to. My knee happened when I was doing triple jump,
Mm.
because that one takes a huge toll on your knees
I used
if you
to
don't
do triple
triple
jump.
jump a lot. Yeah, like I was when I was training in that discipline, there's like if your lower half of your leg doesn't land on the ground straight,
Mhm.
uh, you're you can put a lot of stress on your knees.
Mhm.
So I think there was one time where it's called blocking when when your ankle is ahead of your knee,
Right.
so you're like stopping yourself. So imagine jumping as far as you can and then landing
My
with your ankle
ankle
in front of your knee.
would pop out of its socket.
It hurts, like it hurts your knee, and I think I was out for like a good um month or so. I remember I had to tape up my knee for a little bit,
Mhm.
but that's also why I wear a knee brace.
Mhm. Not a knee brace, a knee
Um,
sleeve.
knee sleeve, yeah, knee sleeve, because I don't need like a like that much coverage,
Mhm.
but I just need a little bit. I it's more preventative, honestly.
Mhm.
But yeah, my thumb, my thumbs, my
His
fingers.
thumb
You
is
know what's
going through
crazy?
it.
You know what's crazy? I remember when I was playing piano, and my um teacher was like, "Do you play any sports? It's good to play sports." Um, she's like, "Okay, which ones do you play?" And I was like, "Badminton." She's like, "Okay, good." And I was like, "Volleyball." She's like, "What? You what?" Many years later, I'm teaching piano and also wrecking my fingers,
Yeah.
which is very uh,
It hurts when you jam your finger. It's
oh
like
my goodness.
it'll throb after, and then if you can't move your finger, I think I jammed my thumb once, like setting the ball because it was just bad form, and I couldn't even hold a cup.
Yeah,
It's so
yeah.
frustrating not having thumbs.
It's a little messed up.
You were.
Also, I was rock climbing and I injured my finger. I was rock climbing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I was rock climbing. And I there's some holds where you're just hanging on with like one or two fingers, and like, can you imagine
Mhm.
150
Mhm.
ish pounds on a single finger?
Oh, you know what? Here's a good injury. The amount of times that I've
It's a good
almost.
injury.
This is a funny one. I feel like I've risked like puncturing my eye with my glasses or breaking my nose probably too many times, that like beyond like what I can count, because I've gotten
Risking, or you're like very close to?
very close to, because I've gotten hit in the face with a volleyball so many times, and my
That's
nose.
crazy.
At
By who?
There are times where this is why I wear contacts now, because I get hit in the face with a volleyball, and then I'll take my glasses off because my glasses will first of all be wrecked, and my nose, like bridge where the glasses were sitting, will start bleeding. Um,
Yeah.
terrible, terrible.
I've seen people who have had contacts in get six packed
Mhm.
and their contacts have fallen out.
Oh yeah, that's happened to a coach once.
I have
Yeah.
that the first time I saw that I was like, I can't believe that's a possibility.
Yeah, we were at a hitting clinic, and one of my friends, first of all, not the coach's fault, my friend's fault, because we said hit line, and this guy was like, no, I'm gonna hit the ball right at the coach. Hit him square in the face. Both his contacts popped out of his, like, he couldn't see.
That's crazy. I can't believe that. I can't believe that could happen.
Yeah. You know what? Yeah. I all I can say is just like try to take good care of yourself. Like that's all I can really say. If you have like weak joints, or you have like an injury that you're recovering from, like wear a brace, wear like a knee sleeve.
I think there's a fine line between risking your body and putting your body on the line for a point. Like, the ball is was shanked and it's about to go like 50 feet in the opposite direction of the net, and like it's up to you to pick up that ball because you're the lib.
Don't uppercut yourself on the net.
But just like, there's limits. It's just a game where you hit a silly ball
Mhm.
over a net.
Yeah. I'm gonna shout out Jimmy here for a second, because he's a very good example of taking care of your body while you play volleyball.
Wait, why?
He Jimmy, I think he went over, like he had an injury in his career, and now he wears like a knee brace, or he'll wear ankle braces to like protect his body while he plays. Like he'll still like dive,
Lay it out, yeah.
which
Holy
is
crap.
like personally I would not risk it, because I would be terrified to get injured again, but he still dives and stuff like that, but he takes like the measures to protect himself
Yeah,
from
for
getting
sure.
really injured, because he'll stretch, and he'll wear like a knee brace if he really needs it, or he has ankle braces on all the time, right? So that's a good example, I think, and he'll drink water and all that kind of stuff. So yeah.
Yeah. I think athletes should always be taking care of their body. I think that's number one thing.
Hmm.
I think when you get older, like you care a little less, but it's when you should be caring more.
Yeah, that's very true. It only takes one really bad injury to put you out for the rest of your life. So.
I think that's what I'm scared of. Like I think about, like, okay, if I don't stretch, then I'm gonna pull something, and then that's when I stretch.
Yeah.
But really, I should be doing it all the time. Like, the what I used to do when I was doing all these different sports in high school, like I was always stretching
Hmm.
before,
Hmm.
after, dynamic stretching.
Yeah. If I stretch, I will sprain my ankle, so that's why I don't stretch.
Oh, actually, when I was doing climbing, that's when I was actually doing like proper. I had a because when you go to the gym,
Hmm.
I don't go to the gym. I'm just going to say that I don't go to the gym. I don't lift weights. I think it's boring.
Oh. Oh.
Okay, if you go to the gym, that's awesome. Like, it's good. It's good for you. Like, I am kudos to you that you can go to the gym and lift weights. I get so bored. I'm so sorry. I would much rather be playing volleyball, like hitting a ball or something, swinging a racket. Where was my point here?
You were
Um,
warming up before you go rock climbing.
oh yeah, when you go to the gym, like you have like in the first like 15 30 minutes you're warming up. So I was doing everything I could to help my shoulder. That's how I fixed my shoulder. Because before climbing, I was doing a lot of push
Mhm.
with my shoulders
Mhm.
or my arms. With rock climbing, you're doing a lot of pull.
Mhm.
So it slowly like brought my shoulder back in place.
Oh, good.
So it's called op- oppositional opposing. It's like when you do the opposite
Yeah.
of what you're uh typically doing.
Mhm.
So if in volleyball you're doing a lot of pushing,
Mhm.
you can counteract that with
Mhm.
pulling.
Oh, fine. Good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Okay. Well, this podcast is kind of a little shorter than the other ones. Just mainly because again, lots going on, and honestly, I feel like whenever we go over like an hour and a half, it's like, are they even still listening? I wouldn't listen to myself talk for an hour and a half.
yeah, that's why I like question like, is it gonna like be too long? But clearly people have been asking
Mhm.
for more, so I don't know.
I'll keep it short and sweet this time. But we're just gonna quickly go over all the happenings of the next few months. We still have another women's tournament coming up, March 15th. There's 3 more spots left, so if you haven't put in a team yet, you should.
You should. It's gonna be sick.
It's
Like
gonna be sick.
there's a lot of stuff that TVC has prepared for this tournament, and I think it's gonna be really cool to see
Hmm.
all these teams.
Really, really cool. We are also doing a co-ed tournament. So our first co-ed tournament of the year on April 26th. That's a Saturday. We're going to be working with our friends at Game Time Arena again. Same place in as last time as our women's tournament, but that one is the first tournament we're doing registration on our website. So if you have not checked our website out, go to https
Oh,
colon it's
forward
www
slash forward
dot
slash.
tsunamivolleyball.ca, and then you can kind of look at what we have coming up and stuff. I feel like the website's probably a really good way to stay updated with everything going on tsunami wise. And then I believe in May we're doing another Short Kings tournament. Haven't put out registration for it yet, just because we want to get the March and the April stuff out of the way first. But be on the lookout for that. And then we'll, fingers crossed, if our lives are not too busy, we'll be back next week for episode 5, hopefully with a guest.
Hmm.
Mm. Fingers crossed. But yeah, again,
Well,
for.
we also have Saturdays that you can still come out to.
Oh, yes.
Drop-ins.
Drop-ins and clinics. Registration is also on the website for our drop-ins and clinics every Saturday as well. And if there's anything you guys want us to talk about next week, just shoot us a message, honestly. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it from me.
I feel like we need to come up with like a funny way to, cause we figured out a way to open
Mhm.
with coffee sips.
Mhm.
How do we close it?
I can try and like sneeze, like force myself to sneeze, cause
You're gonna force yourself to sneeze every single
yeah,
podcast.
yeah, just sniff some black pepper. It's like the Mark at Chew meme.
Okay, don't sniff something though.
There's a
You
way
can
to.
try. Oh, force yourself to sneeze right now, just on command. Oh, you're gonna do that?
It's not happening. I don't know if I can do it on command. We'll figure it out, but
Okay,
we'll
we'll
probably
figure it
figure
out
it out
for
by
next
next
one.
time.
Oh, we can ask the listeners to come up with ideas too.
Yeah. If you have an idea for how to close these podcasts out, I'm down to hear it. But yeah, thanks for being patient with us. Really appreciate it.
Okay, thanks.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.